Jai Hind, dear children. Last class we studied about geography chapter manufacturing industries. In this chapter we already completed topics like manufacturing. What is the meaning of the term manufacturing? Processing of goods in large quantities or production of goods in large quantities after processing from raw materials to more valuable products is called manufacturing. Then we studied about the importance of manufacturing industries or why manufacturing sector is considered as the backbone of Indian economy. Why? Because it gives a modernizing to agriculture. It tried to overcome poverty and unemployment problem in our country. It tried to overcome regional disparities in our country and brings a lot of foreign exchange to our country. So, apart from all these, if we are giving importance to manufacturing, it tried to make a lot of development in our country. So, this manufacturing sector is considered as the backbone of Indian economy. Then we studied about globalization and the tremendous change in our secondary sector happen as a result of this globalization process. The next topic we studied about the various factors that led to the development of an area as an industrial area, or what are the factors responsible for the location of an industry. Availability of raw material, labor, power resources, favorable climate, market facilities, good transportation facilities and so on. So these are the main factors which are very much responsible for the development of an area as an industrial area. Then we studied the most important idea behind this chapter, which is that, it's the classification of industries. Industries in India is classified into 5 categories. They are on the basis of raw material used, on the basis of their main role, on the basis of their capital investment, on the basis of their ownership, and the last one on the basis of their bulk and weight of raw materials and finished goods. So, these are industries, that means on the basis of raw material used. In India, industries are again divided in this category into 2. They are agro-based industries and mineral-based industries. Industries which are using agriculture products are known as agro-based industries, and those industries which use these raw materials getting from the mining, drilling, like that type of process, that industries are known as mineral-based industries. Next, the second classification on the basis of their main role, it is known as basic or key industries, and next is the consumer goods industries. Those industries whose raw material is used by another industry for its manufacturing. That means it's giving a base to some other industries. That industries are known as basic or key industries. And this consumer industries or consumer good industries are those industries who produce items which the consumer can use it directly. That type of industries are known as consumer goods industries. Next, the third classification on the basis of their capital investment. Again, industries are divided into 2. Large scale industries and small scale industries. Those industries whose investment is 1 crore or more than 1 crore, that industries are known as large scale industries. And industries whose investment is less than 1 crore, they are known as small scale industries. Then the fourth classification on the basis of their ownership. Again, industries are divided into 4. Which are they? Public sector industries, private sector industries, joint sector industries, and cooperative sector industries. Industries whose assets and whose operations and everything controlled by government, that are known as public sector industries. And those industries whose control asset operation are under the control of an individual or a group of individuals. Those industries are known as private sector industries. And the third one, joint sector industries. Those industries whose investment, asset, everything were controlled by government and by an individual or a group of individuals. That industries are known as joint sector industries. Then the last one, cooperative sector industries. In cooperative sector industries, everything were controlled by the workers and suppliers of raw materials in that industry. So they are known as cooperative sector industries. Then the fifth classification on the basis of bulk and weight of raw materials and finished goods. Industries are classified or divided into two. They are heavy industries and light industries. Those industries which use heavy raw materials and produce heavy goods, they are known as heavy industries. And light industries, they use lightweight raw materials and they produce light goods. So these are the five main categorization of industries in India. And in the last class we studied various examples related to each and every industry. So please study all those examples. Those examples are very important. Please study it very well. Okay. So today we are going to study in detail about our first classification of industry, that is on the basis of raw material used. Industries are divided into two. They are agro-based industries and mineral-based industries. First, we are going to study in detail about agro-based industries. What are agro-based industries? Industries which used agriculture products as raw materials are called agro-based industries. So once again, what are agro-based industries? Industries which used agricultural products as raw materials are called agro-based industries. In agro-based industries, first we want to study about textile industry. So in this textile industry, we are going to study about the importance of textile industry in Indian economy. At the same time, what are the reasons that led our textile industry to occupy a unique position in Indian economy? The first reason that led to the importance of textile industry in Indian economy is that it contributes significantly to the industrial production, that is 14%. This means that out of the total production from industrial sector to national economy, textile industry contributes 14%. It employs about 35 million people in India. That means textile industry is the second largest after agriculture for employment generation. So once again, the textile industry is employing 35 million people directly. That means after agriculture, textile industry is the second largest for employment generation. The textile industry earned about 24.6% of foreign exchange. It means by selling finished products and other raw materials, the textile industry is earning foreign exchange of about 24.6%. The textile industry's contribution to GDP is 4%. And in the gross domestic product also, the textile industry is contributing around 4%. Textile industry is the only major industry in India that runs as large scale, small scale, village and cottage level industries at the same time. So once again, textile industry is the only major industry in India that runs as a large scale industry, small scale industry, village industry and cottage level industries at the same time. Textile industry in India is the only industry which is self-reliant and complete in the value chain. What is the meaning of the term self-reliant? Having confidence in exercising one's own power. That means our textile industry is having full confidence over exercising their powers. At the same time, complete in the value chain. What is the meaning of that? It is a business model that describes the full range activities needed to create a problem. So, our textile industry is also having that value chain. That means from raw materials to finished products, we are selling each and everything in our textile industry and we are earning foreign exchange as a result of that. So, on the whole, we can say that our textile industry is self-reliant and complete in the value chain. We should be proud of our textile industry because historically we can understand that from many years ago, textile industry is there in our country and it is a competitive industry and it occupies a unique position in our Indian economy. So, we want to give a lot of importance to our textile industry. In this chapter related with the agro-based industry, we want to study two types of textile industries. They are cotton textile industry and jute textile industry. First of all, we are going to study in detail about the cotton textile industry in India. As textile industry is self-reliant and complete in value chain, this can be highlighted more in cotton textile industry because our cotton textile industry in India is self-reliant and complete in their value chain. How they are self-reliant? That means from fiber production, that means producing raw materials, then in spinning, that means producing yarn, thread, then in weaving and knitting, that means making of fabric, to dyeing and that means coloring the fabric and finishing the garment. We are self-reliant. We are not depending on anyone for all these processes. And at the same time, we are selling everything produced in our cotton textile industry to earn profit. From raw cotton, then yarn, fabrics, garments, everything we are selling to foreign countries and earning foreign exchange. So we can say that our cotton textile industry are self-reliant and complete in their value chain. Our cotton textile industry is having a historical change because in ancient times, hand spinning and hand weaving was very powerful and dominant in India, but production was limited only in countryside. But when power looms were introduced in the 18th century, our weavers slowly moved from hand looms to power looms. That means the machines operated by electricity brought about a great change in our textile industry. But a serious problem faced by our cotton textile industry during the colonial period is that our industries related to hand spinning and hand weaving had to compete a lot with the mill made, that means machine made textile goods. During the colonial period, there is a competition going on between men and machines. At the same time, our traditional artisans, our traditional art skills also face a lot of problems and decline. The first cotton mill in India was established in 1818 at Fort Gloucester near Kolkata, but was a commercial failure. And the first successful cotton mill in India was established by K.G.N. Dabur in 1854 and was named Bombay Spinning and Weaving Company. And this mill is said to mark the true foundation of the modern cotton industry in India. So, the first cotton mill in India was established in 1818 at Fort Gloucester near Kolkata, but was a commercial failure. And the first successful cotton mill in India was established by KGN Daber, Daber, Daber in 1854 and was named Bombay Spinning and Weaving Company. This mill is said to mark the true foundation of the modern cotton industry in India. According to the list of 2011 in India, we are having 1946 cotton and human made fiber textile mills. Of these, 80% belong to private sector and remaining 20% belongs to public and cooperative sector. Apart from these, there are many small scale industries belong to cotton textile with 4 to 10 looms. So according to 2011 list, total there are 1946 cotton and human made fiber textile mills in India, out of which 80% belong to private sector and 20% belong to public and cooperative sectors. Gujarat is the largest producer of cotton in India, and Ahmedabad in Gujarat is known as the Manchester of India, just like Manchester of Great Britain. In Great Britain, Manchester is famous for its cotton textile industry. And at the same time, Ahmedabad in Gujarat is known as the Manchester of India because of its favorable location factor for the development of cotton textile industry. In India, the cotton textile industry is concentrated in the cotton growing belt of Maharashtra and Gujarat because of the following various reasons. So now we are going to study in detail the various reasons or factors why a lot of cotton textile industry is concentrated in Maharashtra and Gujarat. The first reason why a lot of cotton textile industry is concentrated in Maharashtra and Gujarat is the first one is availability of raw materials. Due to the favorable soil type, that is especially the black soil is more in this area, and it is mainly important for the cultivation of cotton. That's why black soil is otherwise known as black cotton soil. And other climatical condition is also favorable to grow cotton in vast areas in these states. So raw materials are available in plenty. So once again, availability of raw materials due to the favorable soil type, that means especially the black soil, it is very important for the cultivation of cotton. And other climatical condition is also favorable to grow cotton in vast areas in these states. So raw materials are available in plenty in Maharashtra and Gujarat. The second reason is transportation facilities. These states are well connected to the rest of the country by railways and roadways. That means in these states that Maharashtra and Gujarat are having well connected roadways and railways. And also they have many large ports from where the textile industry can be easily exported. So this transportation facility is also very much important to start textile industries, especially cotton textile industries in these states. These states are based on more urbanized city of India. That means Maharashtra and Gujarat are based on more urbanized city of India, and there exists a big market for textile orient products. Though they have locally available big markets, they also enjoy good transport facilities that enable their reach to the national and the international markets. So third one, availability of good markets. These states are based on more urbanized cities of India, and there exists a big market for textile orient products. Though they have locally available big markets, they also enjoy good transport facilities that enable their reach to the national and international markets. Next is availability of cheap labor. Although they have locally available cheap labor force, they are supported by migrant laborers from the northern states. So once again, availability of cheap labor. Although these states have locally available cheap labor force, they are supported by migrant laborers from the northern states. For cotton textile, moist climate is a must, and these states, Maharashtra and Gujarat, have favorable climatical conditions for the cultivation of cotton. So, most cotton textile industries are also concentrated in these areas. Port facilities in Mumbai and Kandala also favored the establishment of cotton textile industry. So port facilities in these states in Mumbai and Kandala in Gujarat also favored the establishment of cotton textile industry. So these are the main factors that are mainly responsible for the concentration of cotton textile industries in Maharashtra and in Gujarat. Cotton textile industries are also called supported industries because they support farmers to provide them a living by working as cotton bale pluckers and as workers engaged in ginning, spinning, weaving, dyeing, designing, packing, tailoring, and sewing, and also help them to sell their produced raw materials and earn profit. These cotton textile industries not only support farmers but also support other industries like chemical industry to provide color to the raw material in dyeing and packing industry to pack their bulk products in their mills. So we can say that cotton textile industry has close links with agriculture. So once again, cotton textile industry are also called supported industries because they support farmers by giving them employment opportunities and also help them to sell their raw materials to earn profit. Apart from that, these cotton textile industries also help chemical industry and packing industries, and they have close links with agriculture. The cotton textile industry in India are facing a lot of challenges. Here in this area, we are going to study in detail about the various challenges faced by the cotton textile industry in India. Problems in spinning and weaving is the first challenge faced by cotton textile industry. What is spinning? The method of making yarn or thread from cotton balls is called spinning. And what is weaving? The method of making fabric from the yarn is called weaving. So what is the problem here is that spinning is centralized in Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu and Gujarat. That means spinning is doing more in these areas, is highly developed in these areas. But weaving is decentralized to incorporate traditional skills. So, what's the meaning of that? That means all over India we can't see good weavers. In some areas only they were concentrated. So, just like spinning, weaving is not having that much of popularity in all areas of India. That is the first problem faced by the cotton textile industry. Spinning in India is world class. That means they produce high quality yarn. But the fabric made in India is of low quality. Why? Do our weaving sector is having any problem? Or the yarn or thread used by us is having any problem? Yes, the yarn used by us is of low quality because most of the high quality yarn or thread we produce were exported to other foreign countries and we were forced to import fabric. Just imagine what a pathetic condition we are having. We are producing good yarn and but we are not using it, and in order to make our garment industry more developed we want to import fabric to make garment from the foreign countries. What is the meaning of this statement? Our spinners export cotton yarn while apparel manufacturers have to import fabric. The meaning of this statement is that our spinning sector they are exporting high quality yarn to foreign countries, but for manufacturing garments we want to import fabric from different countries, different foreign countries. What is the reason for that? The weaving, knitting and processing units in India cannot use much of the high quality yarn that is produced in India. Our modern factory have to be upgraded to use this high quality yarn if we are using that yarn also. So, if weaving sector is improved, then yarn can be used in the country and garments can be exported to earn foreign exchange for the country. So we can overcome this problem also. So once again, the weaving, knitting and processing units cannot use much of the high quality yarn that is produced in the country. If we want to use that high quality yarn that is produced in India, we want to upgrade our industry, especially our modern factories also. At the same time, if weaving sector is improved, then yarn can be used in the country and garments can be exported to earn foreign exchange for the country. The hand-spun khadi provides large-scale employment to weavers as a cottage industry. So, in order to avoid our unemployment problem, Gandhiji lay emphasis on spinning yarn and weaving khadi. But how we can adopt it and what Gandhiji's idea behind it that we want to study in detail. So, the hand-spun khadi provides large-scale employment to weavers as a cottage industry. Why did Gandhiji lay emphasis on spinning yarn and weaving khadi? Why? Because Gandhiji believed in the ideology of Swadeshi, that is to use everything that is made in India. During the colonial period, the British had discouraged the Indian textile industries and promoted the British made goods, especially the textiles. This led to closure of several Indian handloom industries and many weavers were hit hard. Gandhiji and other leaders, in order to promote Swadeshi goods, encouraged the people to spin yarn and weave khadi. This hit the British textile industries hard and provided work to many Indian artisans and weavers. So once again, why Gandhiji lay emphasis on spinning yarn and weaving khadi? There's a question there in your textbook itself. Why Gandhiji lay emphasis on all this? Because Gandhiji believed in the ideology of Swadeshi, to use everything that is made in India. During the colonial period, the British had discouraged the Indian textile industries and promoted the British made goods, especially the textiles. This led to the closure of several Indian handloom industries and many weavers were hit hard by this. Gandhiji and many other famous Indian leaders, in order to promote Swadeshi goods, encouraged the people to spin yarn and weave khadi. This hit the British textile industries hard and provided work to many Indian artisans and weavers. Is it important for our country to keep the mill sector loomage lower than the power looms and handlooms? Why? Because powerloom and handloom provide employment to large number of people in the rural areas and it is one of the main source of their livelihood. So if the industrial production increases, it will affect the livelihood of many families who work on power looms and handlooms in their house. It will also result in unemployment and poverty. It is to avoid such circumstances and to make rural people self sufficient. The industrial or milk loomage is always kept lower than the power looms and handlooms. India is famous in producing high quality yarn because India has the second largest installed capacity of spindlers in the world, with 43.13 million spindlers after China. So, what is spindlers? It is a rounded rod, usually of wood, tapering toward each end, used in hand spinning to twist into thread the fibers drawn from the mass on the distaff and on which the thread is woven as it is spun. We export around one fourth, that is 25% of the trade of cotton yarn, but we achieved only 4% of world trade in the area of garment. That means spinning mills are competitive, but weaving, knitting, and processing units cannot produce much high quality yarn. These are various problems faced by cotton textile industry. It is important for us to improve our weaving sector instead of exporting yarn in large quantities because what is the reason for this? Because in order it is important to improve our weaving sector instead of exporting yarn in large quantities because majority of the rural population in India apart from agriculture is involved in weaving cloth. Weaving is an important occupation of the rural people. It helps them to earn income to sustain their families, especially at the time when crops fail. Yarn is an unprocessed product and thus it has a lower value. When it is used as a raw material in textile industries, weaving to produce fabric or cloth, after which it can be sold for a much higher value. So, if we export yarn in large quantities, the profit gain is low and the whole process would employ less people. But if the weaving sector is developed, the yarn can be used in indigenous industries, which would employ more people and generate higher profit. So, because of giving employment opportunities to more people in rural areas, we can say that we want to improve our weaving sector instead of exporting yarn in large quantities. Now we are going to study in detail about some of the main problems faced by the cotton textile industry in India. The first problem faced by the cotton textile industry is power supply is erratic. An erratic power supply hampers production because regular power supply without break is mandatory for this cotton textile industry. So erratic means erratic, that word meaning is that in between there is some break. So if in between there, if the power supply is breaking, that means that much damage is happening in that industry. The second problem is that there is a stiff competition with the synthetic fiber industry, which are available comparatively in cheaper rate. And in terms of cost and convenience of use also, they are very good. So, more people are in demand of this synthetic fiber rather than our cotton goods. So that is another problem faced by the cotton textile industry, is a stiff competition with the synthetic fibers. The cotton mills are quite old and outdated technology, are having outdated technology. It needs to be upgraded in the weaving and processing sectors in particular. Then only we can make use of all these yarn and fabrics in the proper way. A major loophole is its huge fragmentation in industry structure, which is led by small scale companies. That's another great problem faced by the cotton textile industry is that most of these industries are concentrated on small scale companies. So it is also another great problem faced by the cotton textile industry. Another problem is that the labor productivity in this area is very low. Since they are not skilled in their jobs, they are not able to make use of their complete potential in this area. And so it is also another great problem faced by the cotton textile industry. These are the important points related to the cotton textile industry. Now we are going to study another important textile industry in this area, which is that it is jute industry. After cotton, jute is the most vital vegetable fiber in consumption with its soft, long and silky shine. Jute, as it is a natural fiber, it is otherwise known as golden fiber because of its golden color. India is the largest producer of jute in the world. That means in India, we produced a lot of jute. But as an exporter, we are having only the second place. The first place goes to Bangladesh. Why? We are the largest producer, but the second place in the exporter. Because in Bangladesh, they don't have as much jute industries as in India. So they export all they produced. As a result, they become the first largest exporter of jute in the world. There are about 80 jute mills in India. After partition in 1947, the jute mill remained in India, but three-fourths of the jute producing areas went to Bangladesh. Most of the Indian jute mills are located in West Bengal, in Kolkata, near Hooghly River, a distributary of Ganga. So after partition in 1947, the jute mills remained in India, but three-fourths of the jute producing areas went to Bangladesh. The first jute mill was set up near Kolkata in 1855 at Rishra on the banks of river Hooghly. After 4 years of setup, in 1859, the first power-driven jute mill was set up in Kolkata at Rishra in the same place. Today, around 3.7 lakh workers were directly and 40 lakh small and marginal farmers were engaged in jute cultivation. So, the first jute mill was set up near Kolkata in 1855 at Rishra, but it is having some problems all that. So, after 4 years of setup in 1859, the very first power-driven jute mill was set up in Kolkata at Rishra. Most of the jute mills in India were located in Kolkata near the banks of Hooghly River. There are various reasons why these jute mills are located in this area. So now we are going to study in detail the various reasons why most of the jute mills were located in Kolkata near the banks of Hooghly River. West Bengal is a storehouse of jute. It produces the highest quality of jute in India. Because of that reason, most of the jute mills in India is located in West Bengal near Kolkata on the banks of river Hooghly. The jute industry requires a lot of water for the processing of raw jute, which is easily available from the Hooghly River. So in this jute industry, it needs a lot of water and that is easily available from the Hooghly River in Kolkata. So that is another reason why a lot of jute industry is located in Kolkata. Cheap labor is easily available because of migrating labor from neighboring states of Bihar, Uttar Pradesh and Orissa in these areas. So because of many skilled and unskilled laborers and also cheap labor is easily available in these area. That's why many industries also located in this area. There is a good network of rivers which provide inexpensive water transport and abundant water supply for jute processing. So, in this area, there is a good network of rivers which provide inexpensive water transport for carrying this bulk of raw jute to different jute industries. At the same time, this area is also having abundant of water supply for the processing of raw jute. As Kolkata is a large urban center, it provides banking, insurance, and loan facilities to these industries very easily. So, another reason why a lot of jute mills is concentrated in Kolkata near the banks of Hooghly River. Kolkata is an urban center, a large urban center, which provides banking, insurance, and loan facilities to these mills. Kolkata is a good harbour which can provide facilities for the export of jute products in various parts of the world. So, once again, as Kolkata is a good harbour, it provides facilities for the export of jute products in various parts of the world. Good network of railways and roadways facilitate the supply of raw materials to the mills and finished goods to the market. So, once again, good network of railways and roadways facilitate the supply of raw materials to the mills and finished goods to the markets. So, these are the various reasons why there's a lot of jute mills are concentrated in Kolkata near the banks of Hooghly River. Next, we are going to study the various challenges faced by the jute industry in India. The first challenge faced by the jute industry in India is that there is a stiff competition in the international market from synthetic substitutes because these synthetic substitutes are durable and low cost compared to jute because it is high cost and need a lot of maintaining. So, this was the first challenge faced by the jute industry is the stiff competition from synthetic substitutes. Competition from other international competitors like Bangladesh, Brazil, Egypt, Philippines, and Thailand. So, to compete with them, we want to produce high quality. That is also another challenge faced by jute industry because the jute produced by these international countries are of good quality. So, if we want to compete with them, we want to produce high quality. Next challenge is because of the high cost of the product, its demand is decreasing. So, compared to other fibers, other synthetic fibers, this jute is of high cost. Because of that, its demand is decreasing. Next challenge is the product needs to be diversified because in order to get a lot of demand for this product, we want to develop new items from these products. Then only we can increase the demand of the product and we can have a good earning from it. Several new substitutes have been threaded to the latest technology in the form of plastic bags, covers or sheets to be used to cover for tents or in storehouses. So another challenge is that several new substitutes that developed by the latest technology in the form of plastic bags, covers or sheets to cover tents or in storehouses also they are used mainly. So this is also another challenge faced by the jute industry. The transportation cost of jute is very high because it's very bulky and so its cost is very high. At the same time, there's a shortage of raw jute of good quality. And the sales promotion of the jute carpets, packing materials has not been done properly. So because of all these reasons, because of the high transportation cost, shortage of raw jute of good quality, and because of not giving that much of promotion to jute carpets packing materials, we are facing a lot of challenges in the jute industry in India. So, in order to overcome all these challenges, in 2005, our Indian government adopted the National Jute Policy to help this jute industry. And now we are going to study the main objective of this National Jute Policy 2005. The first objective is that through this National Jute Policy 2005, our government made it mandatory to use jute packing. So, as a result of this, it led to an increase in the internal demand of our jute products. So, once again, the first objective of this National Jute Policy 2005 is that it made mandatory to use jute packing, and it led to an increase in the internal demand of jute. Another objective of the policy is that they laid stress on diversification of jute products. So, if we are diversifying, that means if we are producing a lot of varieties products from the jute, we can increase its demand and we can earn a lot from it. Another important objective of the National Jute Policy is that its main aim is to increase the productivity, improve the quality, and ensure price to the jute farmers for their production and enhance the yield per hectare. So once again, the third main objective of the National Jute Policy is to increase productivity of jute, improve the quality, and ensure good price to the jute farmers and enhance the yield per hectare. So in recent time, the demand for the jute products increased internally as well as globally. There are various reasons for the rise of these demand for the jute products internally as well as globally. So now we are going to study the various reasons for the rising demand of jute. The first reason for the increased demand of jute internally as well as globally is that jute is a biodegradable product, and due to the invasion of plastics, jute is needed for being environment friendly. So once again, jute is a biodegradable product, and due to the invasion of plastic, jute is needed for being environment friendly. Many countries want to get rid of plastic bags and want to replace it with environment friendly jute bags. So another reason for the demand of this jute is many countries in the world want to get rid of these plastic bags and want to replace it with environment friendly jute bags. Jute industry also support a large number of marginal farmers who are engaged in its cultivation. And Mestra, it's an organization to help these farmers in the countries like India and Bangladesh. So another reason for the demand of this jute industry is that it also supports a large number of marginal farmers who are engaged in jute cultivation and also Mestra in countries like India and Bangladesh. Another reason for the increased demand of jute products internally as well as globally. Internally, its demand increased because our government introduced a new policy of mandatory jute packing. As a result of that, a lot of demand arose in our country itself for these jute products. So these are the various reasons that led to the increased demand of jute internally as well as globally. Dear children, please watch this video very carefully. Many extra points are there. Please copy down all the extra points and after watching the video, read your textbook 3 or 4 times. Okay, thank you.